Hey Matthew, we're going to talk to the hackers at the MIT Bitcoin Expo. Oh, that's cute.
I'm Stacie. I work on the Bitcoin Dev project. We create a lot of tools, educational resources, and just general things for Bitcoin developers, not only if you are an existing one, but if you're an aspiring one and you want to learn more about the space. I used to work for a company that did blockchain technology, just general, put things on the blockchain, and my job was to build out a large part of the system. And I started getting very confused because it seemed like I was building a distributed database with a linked list inside. And I figured, the Bitcoin people clearly have this worked out. They know what a blockchain is. Let me check that out. And I was like, okay, this is like the reference implementation of like blockchain technology. So I had to look over there, and that's when I got exposure to the economic side, the game theory side, and my background is in computer science. So I never had exposure to any of that before. And so I started learning about economics and like all this other cool stuff. And by that point, there was no turning back, and that's the rest is history. Yeah, so I was working at this blockchain company, and I had been going to the like general software engineering conference circuit for a little bit. I know we talked about going to Google I/O. So when I saw Crypto Springs happen in 2018, that looked like a really good conference. And so Crypto Springs was this amazing, it was a general, more crypto conference, but a lot of Bitcoin representation there in Palm Springs. And they had watermelon margaritas and yoga and pool time, and it was the best conference ever and the best swag and like temporary tattoos. It was awesome, and I made a lot of good friends there, and I went there and I spoke with somebody and I kind of just unloaded on her, and I was like, I really am getting frustrated where I'm working at. And I ended up meeting I won the Casa node in the raffle. They were giving 10 away though. So, to be fair, my chances were pretty good. I took the node home, and then I started playing around with it, and I wrote a blog post about it, and they reached out to me about that. And they were like, by the way, we're also hiring for a back-end engineer. And I was like, that's what I do. It was a different language, though. It was actually, my background at that time was in Java, and they were doing JavaScript. And like, that's not that big of a difference, but to me, it felt like, oh my goodness, like I really need to study up. So I think I told them actually, like, don't hire me for a month. Let me like do a crash course on JavaScript. But yeah, I went through the full interview process with them very quickly, and I actually handed in my resignation letter for the blockchain company on January 3rd, 2019, which was a 10-year anniversary, and so yeah, it felt right. So at Casa, I was there for a good number of years, working on their back-end multi-sig system, and by the time of my ending there, my son was not quite 1 year old, so I really wanted to spend more time with him. So I took a step back, and I ended up just working, kind of dabbling around the Bitcoin open source space. I did do some work in Bitcoin Core. I also did some work on a game called Saving Satoshi, which we can talk about more later. I started picking up co-hosting Boston BitDev, so more co-organizing. But all those things put together really filled my plate. And then in the meantime, I had another kid, and so now I've got two little ones. They're currently 2 and 4, and there's zero time to code. There's absolutely no flow state that I can possibly get into without it being interrupted. So because of that, I spend more of my time on developer outreach. Apparently, people are interested in the story. I've done it all at this point. I've been involved in just nothing remotely similar to Bitcoin, blockchain, Bitcoin industry, now Bitcoin open source. And I want to see more people get involved, because if we want Bitcoin to succeed, we need all the best people we can get. It's not a zero-sum game. There's room for everyone. I think also when we look at other crypto projects, they have really healthy developer communities, a lot of good energy around that, and I don't see why we can't have that as well. If you don't want it, it's fine, but I like fun, so that's why I'm here.
So where are we today at Casa?
We are at the MIT Bitcoin Expo. It's the best because I live here in Boston, and it's the one time of year where everybody comes to me, and it's great. Highly recommend it. If you haven't been, definitely check it out.
What have you seen here at the conference that you got excited about and think is interesting, maybe?
So I've been mostly at my table. But I think the hackers are actually, that's really interesting. This weekend they did an in-person event, which normally they do it hybrid where it's remote and in-person, and they had over 40 projects, which is amazing. And all these people are hacking on Bitcoin. I don't know exactly what they are yet because the winners haven't been announced, but like to see this kind of energy, especially when I think we're at a point where we feel like in Bitcoin, we saw it get popular on campuses, and now it's like the boomer coin, people want to do AI stuff, and you're like, I have a little bit of worry, like, does anyone care about this anymore the way I do? And I think the energy is there, and so it's really fun to see them. I want people to know that should you desire a career in Bitcoin open source, that is absolutely a viable thing to do. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. You get to work on impactful stuff, especially if you truly, deeply believe in the mission of Bitcoin being freedom money, a tool for financial self-sovereignty. You get to work on interesting problems with the best people. It's amazing. I think it's so very wonderful, and I want more people to know that this is possible for them.
What do you think makes people successful in Bitcoin?
I think that you really need to be a self-starter, and I think that's teachable, totally teachable. And I think you just have to learn to be uncomfortable, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think in open source specifically, there's so many situations where you're just waiting for someone to review your PR and you're feeling really lonely. And it's those moments where you have to be your biggest cheerleader and you have to say, like, you know what, I'm doing this for me. Like, I'm doing this because I care about this technology, because I want to better myself, because I want to build this thing. And then, like, I feel like once you kind of wrap your head around that and you stop caring what other people think, then everyone, like, they show up out of nowhere and they're like, oh, I reviewed your PR, like, here's some feedback, like, let's work together. So I think it's like you have to be good at motivating yourself, and then when the external validation goes away, you still need to, like, have a really strong internal compass, because, like, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that will keep you going. Do I think there's still work left to be done in Bitcoin? Yes, of course I do. Even just from a basic software maintenance perspective, like, libraries need to be upgraded, security vulnerabilities will need to be found. There's a lot of want for a certain type of upgrade in Bitcoin from many different angles. I feel like I personally haven't even made a decision on, like, what I think the best would be. Of course, if the quantum threat happens sooner than later, that seems like what's going to be the obvious choice. But yeah, I even just at a basic level though, like, people need to maintain the software, because if no one's maintaining it, it's not going to go well. Oh, I think they should come to events, talk to people in person. That's where the magic happens, especially because, like, there's a lot of AI stuff out there. It's hard to tell if you're talking to a real human anymore. And I think that the Bitcoin community is one of our greatest strengths. Like, we're all great, like, not to toot my own horn, but, like, there are really amazing people in this space, and they're worth getting to know and making lifelong friendships.
Oh, that's cute.